Hi guys, today I'm going to show you the inside of the van. The last video I made was probably a couple of months ago now. It's taken me a while. It's been Christmas and Easter and all sorts of busy things going on, but at that time I'd insulated. I put some recycled plastic insulation in, and then I'd covered it with like tin foil insulation wrap. And so that's as far as I'd got, and now this is a couple of months on and I've pretty much finished all the carpeting and all the ply lining and everything, so I'm pretty happy with it. I'm going to show you it in a minute. But basically, just to kind of show you, so underneath here there's 10 centimeters. First off, there was a soundproofing agent that I just put on, and then I used the 10 centimeter recycled bottle insulation, and then I've covered it all in this silver tin foil insulation wrap, and then I got a I think 6mm ply, and I've cut out all the ply linings. So there was this one here, and then a rear quarter, another rear quarter here, and then the panel that goes on this side door as well. So I hand cut it all out, just using a jigsaw, and then I used this carpeting anthracite colour. They come in lots of different colours. This anthracite is like a black with little bits of grey in it. It's quite nice. Looks quite smart. It's not too black as well, because I didn't want it to be too miserable. And that's from Extreme Vans, and it's the Mega Stretch line, and I really do recommend getting that. If it's your first time carpeting, you just use a hairdryer and heat up the carpet, and it just stretches really nicely. So if you're not as precise with the way that you're cutting it out, the stretch will help you with any errors that you've made. So you can just heat it up and stretch it around, and it's perfect. And then you use a spray carpet adhesive and just spray it on real thick, and then stick down your carpet. So it's pretty straightforward. It's just a lot of work. Overall, I don't know, it's probably taken me about 6 or 8 days on weekends to get it all done. So what I've done is basically I had to start off with carpeting the metalwork on the van. So this part here and all up here, and I'll show you it all in a minute. But you have to do it in one full piece. So it's about, I think, 2.8 meters long. And you start from here and then work your way along the top, flattening it out to about that middle column, and then start to lay it down as you go, and then work along as you finish this section. Then work along, and I recommend starting the carpet up here. If you start it in the middle, then it doesn't fit as nicely and you end up being all out. So if you get it flat and straight at the top, and then it'll fall down with gravity, and then you can get it on perfectly, and you're not going to end up with seams or creases everywhere. So that was that. So I carpeted both sides, this side and that side, on the metalwork. Then I cut out my ply lining, carpeted that, and then I've put that now, and that's all screwed in place. And I've done it in two different ways, really. You can see here, maybe you can see these black panel clips. You can't use the original panel clips that come with the van, because once you've got the carpet on and you've got a little bit thicker ply and the carpet underneath, it ends up being too far away from the hole in the metalwork to get it through. So you have to get an extra long panel clip, and it just pops straight through. But they're easily, you can buy them quite easily online. I did buy a full pack, and then I thought, actually, I'm going to change the way I'm doing it, because I don't really like the look of these black bits that are sticking out. So instead what I've done is that's okay. I've stuck with that for this part, because there's going to be a work surface here and you're not going to see that. But for the rest of it, all I did was I just sliced a Stanley knife down the carpet, made a little incision, and then just splayed it apart, put the screw in, and then just hid it away, so you can't actually see any of the screws. So it just looks like a board stuck there, which looks really neat, and I'll show you that. And then just some advice with the carpeting the wheel arch. That's quite difficult, but what I would say is get plenty of adhesive on there in all the creases along the wheel arch, and start from the top, work your way down to the bottom, and you want about something like that much at the bottom, just for error that's just coming off onto the flat of the van. So that's that, and then I've also done the ceiling now. That was relatively easy, actually. I just used the original OEM hardboard panels that came with the van, so I didn't have to cut that out, which it would have been a nightmare if I'd have had to cut that out. And then just carpet it like I did all the ply lining, and then I've fitted in 6 LED lights that are coming down. They come down and into this side. So I'll show you what I've done so far a little bit closer, so you can see here are these panel clips. They're extended panel clips. It looks quite neat. I've just got a cable tied to here, so all the cables coming from underneath the seat, they're going to come out and then up into there, and then behind all this. Then I've got a window in. You can see when I was doing the carpeting, I've just tucked the carpet behind the window, and it looks actually really quite neat. I don't know whether you can see it because of the contrast with the light outside, but it looks really neat. I'm really happy with that. And then you can see it just tucked up behind this metal, this plastic here, just to give a good finish. And you want to, with this carpet up here, you want it to tuck probably 5 centimeters further than the ceiling panel, just so it tucks away nicely. And that's that. At the back panel, and this is going to have, you know, a big wardrobe against it, so you won't actually see this. And then I've then done the rear doors. Now, I'm not too happy with the rear doors, actually. Just the way that, if I show you, it's a bit awkward because I'm on selfie mode with the camera, but what I've done is I've tucked the carpet around there, and I do think it looks really nice instead of using the rubber edge strip, which a lot of people do. I think this is a nicer finish overall, but then because of this metalwork here was all dinted and bashed and everything, I've had to carpet the metalwork as well, which a lot of people don't do. I think it does look good. It gives you like a complete look instead of just having the metalwork out, which I don't think looks as nice. But I have got an issue with the way that I've finished it, which I'll show you. I'm going to do it in a slightly different way. I think I'm going to make an amendment, but if you can see here, I've used a rubber edging trim, and actually it looks quite neat there, like that. But if you take a look closer at some of this, yeah, I'm not as happy with this up here. So I'm probably gonna take that out and then put an actual piece of rubber, like a V-shaped piece of rubber with a sticky back, and then slot the carpet into it, and I'll give a nicer finish with that. But I'll make that amendment at some point further down the line. And then I've put in the floor now as well. So this is, I think, 18mm thick ply. The issue with doing this, it's quite a long process, but basically there was a few issues. So the whole van, the van is about 9 foot by 5 foot, something like that, in the back of the van, the floor space in the back of the van. But most standard sheets come in 8 by 4. So you've got this predicament. You've either got to buy 2 8 by 4 sheets and then put a joint down the middle, or you can buy a one single sheet, but it'd have to be a 10 by 5 sheet of ply. So I decided to go for 2 sheets of 8 by 4 and then cut them in half. So first off, I started, because it was a metal corrugated floor, so underneath all is just metal corrugations, these divots. So I didn't want to be drilling down this ply into the floor of like the metalwork. I didn't want to be drilling through the metalwork. So what I decided to do was I had some offcuts of this, and I just made some battens. And I'll show you, I've got pictures as well of all this process. But basically I filled in the divots with 18mm ply battens, and I glued those down just using Evo stick glue. Then I filled in some of the gaps between those battens and the metalwork with some insulation material and some acoustic foam, and then I laid down this 18mm ply, and I drilled the ply down into the battens, and I countersunk them. All these you can see, they're all countersunk. And it's actually, finished pretty well. The issue is, and the thing that I was concerned about, I've got quite thick ply, so it shouldn't be a major issue. But if you can see this line, here, this is where the 2 pieces of ply meet, and I was concerned that if one half of the van was heavy, because it's got like the bed on it, or the fridge on it, or cupboards, then I would get one of the panels sinking and the other one, being higher. So I'd have a lift in the floor, and then when I put the vinyl matting over it, you're gonna see a lift, which wouldn't look nice. So what I had to do was biscuit joint it together. So you just use the biscuit jointing tool, and it cuts out a little semicircle in either end of in both pieces of the wood. So you got a semicircle on here and a semicircle on here, and then you fit a what looks like a biscuit into that, and then you glue it, and then that should stop it from lifting. So this is solid. I mean, it's 18mm anyway, so it shouldn't bend, and it's really solid. It's great. So I'm really happy with that. The way that I cut out the actual ply, you can get them CNC routed if you buy them online. They're quite expensive. The way that I did it was to just create a cardboard stencil, and I've got that available. If anybody wants it, I can send it you. But basically I just got loads of sheets of cardboard, cut them all out, and it took me maybe 3 or 4 hours just to create this stencil. But then I had a stencil, and then I transferred that to the ply and cut out the ply. There's no way, I can't see you doing it any other way. So it's a bit of a ball ache, really, but once it's done, it looks good. The other issue is, because I've essentially got 18mm higher than the metalwork on the floor, you've then got to raise the step from the side of the van. So that's the other issue that a lot of people come across, is that the original step for the side of the van here is too low. So you've got to buy what's called a combi step, which is slightly higher. And with this if you look here, it's absolutely perfect. It's probably just got enough give, but it definitely has got enough give, you know, to fit some vinyl under there, but it's a perfect fit. So with the 18mm ply, it fits perfectly. And then therefore, you know, if you had the lower step, this ply would be coming over the top of that, and that doesn't look very neat. You can see there I'm still working on that door, you know, which is just bare at the moment. But I'll come around to that one when I get the chance. It's not important at the moment. So that's, I think, about it so far. Next up, you can see here, I've just got some of the markings for the cupboards that are going in. So that's my next job. It's a big job. And then electrics and finishing things off. So it's not too far away, maybe 3 or 4 months, because I'm having to work at the same time as doing this, so I only get the weekends to do it. But I'm thinking of doing it all in maple. So stay tuned. It's going to be good when it's done. I'm really happy with it so far. If you like what you hear, please subscribe. And I'm making a little ebook about all this, taking photos of every stage and how I've done it, and I think it's going to go into more detail than a lot of the other guides that are out there. There's two main guides, and one of them is basically just photos of somebody else converting it, and a lady's just taking photos, and it doesn't really give you the reasoning as to why she's doing the things that she's doing. So hopefully it's going to give a little bit more clarity on how to do it, and how, you know, I came to this with absolutely no experience at all. I'm a physiotherapist, you know, I have no idea how to do any of this, but I'm making a really good job, and you can too. So that ebook's going to be on sale. I'm going to put it on a blog post, something like a tenner, just to give me a bit of spare money. Hopefully pay back some of the costs of the van. So it's not anything revolutionary, that book, but it's the culmination of hours and hours and hours of research and pulling it all together off of the T5 forums and all over the internet. So it's all the pieces of the jigsaw all put together in one concise document. So that's going to take me a while. That's going to be after I've finished all of the cupboards and everything, but stay tuned for that. Alright, thank you.